Hi, I'm B-Town. By now, I'm sure everyone has heard that Modern Warfare 3 is going to be launching with the complete map list from Modern Warfare 2. If I'm being totally honest, I don't really know how to feel about this. These maps definitely should have been just Year 2 Modern Warfare 2, and it speaks volumes about the current state of greed and disorganization at Activision. But the maps are fantastic, and this offers us a very unique opportunity to explore them before the game even comes out. I think it's pretty obvious that some of you have either never played OG Modern Warfare 2, or maybe you weren't even born yet. There's no shame, this game's actually almost 15 years old. Or maybe you're a series veteran who just hasn't seen any of these maps in over a decade. So today we're going to be breaking down every launch map to get you ready for the release of Modern Warfare 3 so you'll be at the top of the lobby when it drops. And because they're bringing back map voting, we're also going to be ranking each map from worst to best so you know which ones to skip or play. Number 16, Wasteland. This isn't just the worst map in Modern Warfare 2, it's literally one of the worst maps in Call of Duty history. I did a ranking video a few months ago and put Wasteland right at the bottom where it belongs. I'd rather have an incurable ear infection than play Wasteland. There's zero reason to believe it's going to be any better in Modern Warfare 3, it's kind of a nightmare. But for anyone who hasn't endured the punishment of playing Wasteland, let's take a look at the TAC map. Alright, that's better. Wasteland is a massive, wide-open field with trenches that form a plus symbol in the middle. From above, it kind of looks like a cat's butthole. That's it! That's the whole map. There's death over here, a little bit of despair over there, and down here in this corner is where I lost my will to live. This map really is just a bowl. It's got buildings and random cover kind of scattered around the edges of the map. But how can you find success on Wasteland? Grab a sniper, learn the angles. There are going to be tons of boomer snipers holding down angles everywhere, so just, get ready to get your melon popped. Most of them are going to be pretty terrible holding down hard angles in the back of the map, so you can dome them and rank up easy and get your long shots, so that's a bonus for Wasteland. There's a little bit more flexibility if you want to hold down the trenches. ARs work really nicely. You could even get away with a submachine gun or a shotgun if you hang out in the bunker in the middle of the map. You could also use the trenches to kind of push up just a little bit with an AR and get some cheeky shots on snipers who are moving from position to position. If you catch somebody out in the open, they're pretty much an easy target. Wasteland is a slow and tedious map, but you can kind of crush it once you learn the rotations. Back in the Modern Warfare 2 days, this was easily one of the most nukable maps of all time. Never, ever, ever let them have the bunker. The team who owns the bunker runs the map. Personally, I plan to never play this map, so it's a 100% skip it for me. But if you're looking for long shots, or maybe you just want to, hard scope snipe and just kind of chill for a minute and have a easy round, this map is maybe playable for you. 15, Derail. This is definitely a step up from Wasteland, but not by much. Derailed is another huge map. It has 3 lanes with a derailed train down the middle, hence the name. There are a few big warehouses and a small town anchoring one end. Snow maps have a rocky history in Call of Duty. This one's huge, but there is a fair amount of cover. There are clear lanes to traverse, and despite its overall size, there's a bunch of rarely used spaces on this map as well, like the frozen lake. There's barely any cover over here, so it's really like a high-risk, high-reward flank. Because it's so exposed, people barely use it, so therefore people barely watch it, so therefore you could actually get sneaky and go that route that nobody's watching and come up behind them. It can be a pretty gnarly flank and you can catch people totally by surprise. There's also more elevation than Wasteland, which makes the gameplay more exciting. There's rooftops and windows and different angles you can get shot from. Locking down the middle building on this map is key. If you don't see any of your teammates inside, assume there are enemies camping in there. This building provides great cover and actual good firing angles on both of the big spawns, so you really want to own this if at all possible. Overall, Derail is pretty slow and annoying. It's mostly sniper and long-range AR action. It's pretty grindy, another spot where you can rank up your long shots pretty easily. But you can definitely make other playstyles work. Some machine gun rushing even can work on this map. If you can somehow make it to their spawn unnoticed, you can actually do a ton of damage to a bunch of snipers who are hard scoping in the other direction. Assuming that Modern Warfare 3 is going to play just a little bit faster than Modern Warfare 2 2022, I think this map is still going to stay at the bottom tier. It kind of plays okay-ish on domination. I think that's the best version of Derail, but I would definitely advise skipping it. 14, Estate. Yeah, it's an iconic map, but it's also really bad. Estate is from the OG Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and it features a big house on a hill. The strategy here is incredibly simple. Whatever team owns the house wins the game. When you look at the map from above, you can see that everything is really just pushing players into a fight for the high ground. There's an upper and a lower section of the map with a big main street down the middle. Obviously, the estate, the big house, overlooks most of the map. Like Derail, there are a couple underused areas like this random electrical substation down here in the back corner. Spawning down at the bottom of the hill and fighting your way up to the house can be really frustrating. But there is a fun line of attack if you're going from the boathouse to the main house. Like, that could actually be a pretty good battle. But if you're stuck on that lazy team who just refuses to fight uphill, this is going to be a miserable round. Like most of the other big maps, grab an AR or a sniper. If you're rushing the house, a shotty is always handy. But don't you dare let me catch you hiding in the bathroom. You're better than a bathroom camper, remember that. Have more self-worth. This may be a spicy take, but I think Estate is actually a skip-it map for me. Some people really enjoy the sniper battle on this map, but it's really just not for me. I don't find much enjoyment from it. Also, it's a little too big for 6v6. It played actually pretty decent in Ground War. 13, Underpass. Mid-sized map, dope atmosphere, it's super moody with a thunderstorm in the background. This map features lots of different elevation changes as well as a horizontal slope to the map, which is extremely rare in FPS map design. At its core, it's still a classic 3-lane map. Right down the middle is Sniper Alley with 2 elevated positions that overlook where B flag sits in domination. The majority of the space here is usable, but there are some dead corners for like calling in kill streaks or putting down your controller and using the bathroom mid-round. There's a fair amount of clutter on this map, which is actually really good news for rushers, and the visibility is low because of the storm. Snipers work well on this map, but ARs and submachine guns are pretty dominant. Because of the unique design, when you run up against somebody who really knows this map, you're actually going to be in a little bit of trouble. You can get on top of most of the buildings, you can hit people from weird angles, you can mess with the timing of the spawns because you're like cutting through different buildings and things, keeping people guessing the entire time. It's going to be very interesting to see how this map plays with weapons like the TAC-56 in the mix, so it's gonna be different. It's not an amazing map, but it's pretty playable. I'd say vote for it above the previous entries on this list easily. 12, Rundown. A gorgeous South American town split down the middle by a man-made river. There are 3 bridges over that river, making this literally a 3-lane map. On one side there's elevation, and on the other side there's vegetation. And each side has a bunch of buildings and power positions that look over the center of the map. It's another massive map, but there are spaces that never get used, like the gas station. No one's back here unless they're calling in kill streaks or boosting in free-for-all. Yeah, we remember that. We know what you did. You will never escape justice. Pretty much all playstyles are viable on this map. Sniping, SMG, assault rifles. Although this map isn't technically symmetrical, it plays pretty evenly. I'd probably give a slight advantage to the side with the chickens. The cluster of buildings that come together in the middle of that side are very defensible. Tons of windows, tons of head glitching snipers. But if you want to drop big kill streaks, this is the map. It can be kind of frustrating, but I'm definitely going to vote to play it. And if we're talking about voting for random maps, you could do way worse, but you could also do a little bit better. It's kind of right here in the middle. 11, Invasion. Fun fact, this map was originally designed for Call of Duty 4. It was supposed to come out in the Variety map pack, but it ended up making its premiere in Modern Warfare 2. It's a large-sized map set in a dense urban location. On either side of the map, A and C in domination, there are these really heavy-duty fortress-type spawns that are very difficult to flip. In the middle, there are lots of buildings for traversal and cover so you can push up and get aggressive. And the outer lanes are clear with good line of sight for sniping. I love the Starbucks in the video store. I hope they don't change those for Modern Warfare 3. I even want the red porn section in the back of the video store, please. This building right here on the side is actually deceptively powerful. It looks kind of innocent and boring, but when you actually get into the building, you realize that you have an amazing elevated firing position on a 90-degree angle covering 2 lanes. Like I mentioned before, the spawns on this map are very, very sticky. It's actually really tough to flip the map if you don't commit basically your entire team to it. The balance is a little lopsided here. The team who spawns in the embassy with the American flag has a pretty clear advantage, but overall it's a dope map. I really love it in Search and Destroy as well. No matter your playstyle, this is definitely a map worth voting for. 10, Karachi. I love Karachi, but I'm actually a little scared of what Modern Warfare 3 is going to do to it. When you look at the overhead, it seems pretty basic. You know, some buildings, a square layout, some streets and alleys, typical COD stuff, right? But this map is all about elevation. It's a constant battle for the rooftops. Look at this view! This one rooftop legit covers 2/3 of the map. A good sniper up here is a fucking problem. This map is super wild. It has long lines of sight, lots of cover, lots of little nooks and crannies and alleyways to dash between to different positions. Honestly, if you're looking to win the game, lock down the rooftops. That just shuts everybody down. Oh, and here's a bonus sneaky spot. If you jump onto this awning, you can climb up into this dark little corner. This almost always catches people by surprise. I'm definitely going to be voting for this map whenever possible. Number 9. Afghan. Afghan's iconic, but I personally don't love it as much as most people. It's been remade a bunch of times. It was even on MWIII. So I'm not even really that excited to see it in Modern Warfare 3, but I mean, that's just me. Afghan is a large map with a general bowl design. There's a downed plane in the middle, a cliff overlooking the center of the map, poppy field, a cave with cover, and some narrow pathways connecting everything together. This is a very wide open map that offers a lot of freedom and a lot less structure than other Modern Warfare 2 maps. It's great for sniping, although here's a healthy reminder. You have 0 cover up on Sniper Rock. Remember that. You have no cover. Hit your shots and back up. Everyone else can hit you too, and you're a super easy target. People basically play every match of Afghan with one eye always on the cliff, waiting to get an easy kill on a rookie sniper. Like Wasteland, this map is also fantastic for kill streaks as it doesn't offer a ton of cover. Here's a sneaky spot for you. This works great in Search and Destroy as well as against like new players who haven't played a ton of this map. All you have to do is run up the wing of the plane and there's this little ledge you can jump onto. In respawn mode, it's certain death, but it's a nice little spot to keep into your bag of tricks. It's not my personal favorite, but I can totally see why people love Afghan. And in terms of like super long range sniper heavy maps, this is by far my favorite, so I'm definitely going to be choosing to play it more often than I skip it. 8. Scrapyard. So we actually have a pretty decent idea of how this map will play thanks to the remake in 2019. Obviously the health is going to be higher and the weapons are going to be different, but it's really not hard to imagine how Scrapyard is going to play in the new game. This is definitely a classic. It's been remade many times. It was even on Verdansk. Ugh, RIP Verdansk. It's a basic square, buildings around the outside, plain debris in the middle. If you want to control mid, the L-shaped here is your strongest option. I'm going to take a guess here and say that the Modern Warfare 3 version is going to play a little bit better than 2019. I hope it's just a better game than 2019. The gunfights are going to be longer, more skill needed to actually get the kill. Because there's so much cover and concealment, sniping isn't super duper easy on this map, so you actually got to get your shot right. A lot of the best vantage points on this map also offer very little cover, so it's very high risk, high reward. Submachine guns are also pretty baller. That's my personal favorite way to play Scrapyard. Just get kind of silly aggressive and just rush around the entire time. Scrapyard's definitely a play it, but I will also say that I would skip it in some game modes. Personally, I don't love it on Search and Destroy, but that's just my taste. 7. Skid Row. Skid Row after Scrapyard? I can feel the heat in the comments section already. I like Skid Row. It's a pure urban map, square layout, exposed lanes around the outside with a meat grinder choke point in the middle. The sniper lanes in this map are almost like too well defined, if you know what I mean. Like it's just too easy to pick you off. Personally, I would avoid it. I think it's just total death. Above the middle of the map is a series of apartments that have like other long sniper lanes, like kind of down the hallway as well. Lots of halls, lots of doorways. This one's really hard to lock down with a sniper or a long range. You really want to get in there with a shotgun or a submachine gun. This map is messy, it's stressy, people can just appear out of nowhere and just be right in your face. Skid Row offers you very little peace and security unless you're literally hiding in the back of the map. Because so much of the map also takes place indoors, there's a ton of cover from airborne kill streaks and they have very little impact. Unless you're looking to lock down a very specific lane with a sniper or an LMG, I would suggest dropping the long rifles altogether. Grab a shotty, grab a submachine gun, and just start running around like a crazy person. Like, be tricky, be shady, climb through windows, do weird stuff, and you'll do great on this map. Also, it's actually a top tier Search and Destroy map. I love it. It basically plays like Counter-Strike. If you're into rushing and CQB, this is an absolute play it map for sure. But if you're looking to like rank up snipers and stuff like that, you might want to give this one a skip. 6. Quarry. Appeared as a POI in MWIII, and I'm confident people are at least familiar with this map, but the actual standalone MP map for Modern Warfare 2 was actually pretty different. It's a big map, but clever use of cover and concealment can help this map play a little faster than you would actually expect. The top area up here has a few buildings, while the bottom of the map is anchored by a very large warehouse. You can kind of imagine it like a bowl. This area here in the middle is actually sunken and recessed, with a lot of like high vantage points looking over. Unlike a lot of traditional FPS map design, a lot of the firefights on Quarry actually happen on the outside rim of the map, and many people don't even bother traversing through the middle because it's so high risk. Lots of position to position sniping here, but it's easy to kind of avoid their line of sight if you want to run around a little bit. There's of course the iconic sniper catwalk that was featured in every montage in 2009, and it also features the best secret silly spot in all of Call of Duty history. If you go down here and climb up these rocks, there's a literal camping spot up here. It's super funny, but it's also kind of a death trap, by the way. Just don't go up here. There's really no point. It's super easy to see this map playing really well in Modern Warfare 3. Any play style, any map, you can bring anything to the party and make it work. It's a definite play it map. My only word of advice is stay out of the obviously long sniper lanes. Don't be that person who's just wandering around aimlessly, getting sniped over and over again. It's totally avoidable in Quarry. 5. Subbase. This is the one I am least sure about. I really love this map, but we've never seen it remade before. I'm really curious how a modern spawn system in Modern Warfare 3 is actually going to change how this map plays. From above, you can see that this map is divided into 3 major areas. You have the subpens, the middle lane, and down here by the docks is where traditionally most of the fighting actually happens. It's a classic, but I'm actually kind of scared that there's a reason this map hasn't been remade. If you tweak the spawn system too much, I think it'll actually play like trash. It'll play too big, there's too many high vantage points, and just, ultimately be like really slow and tedious. There's a lot of interesting spaces in this map, like the server room, that's a big one. Obviously, the hallway through mid. Always keep an eye out for snipers on the rooftop over here. This position gives a really, really wide line of sight. It's super dangerous. And if you really want to be a scumbag, you can hide right here behind this fence. But do it at your own risk. I've seen people literally unfriend each other on Xbox Live over hiding in this spot. Although I'm really excited to play it and I'm super curious, I'm also going to give this map kind of a cautious play it because we don't know what Modern Warfare 3 is going to do to this classic. 4. Rust. If you don't know this map, where have you been for the past 15 years? Rust is about as big as a postage stamp. Here, you know what? If you haven't experienced Rust before, I'll give you a tour. There, done. If you love Shipment, you'll love Rust. It's a tiny little death box. It's just spam on spam on spam, tons of kill streaks, tons of frags, tons of flashes, tons of stuns, tons of everything. So everybody knows you can climb to the top, but did you know you can also hide in this little pipe over here? This is actually a pretty good way to escape an airborne streak if you're like one off an AC-130 or something. For Rust, you don't need to skip it or play it. What you need to do is bring your sorry ass into a private match and 1v1 me on Rust, bro. 3. Terminal. Absolute classic. Terminal is a banger. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a play it right off the rip. If you're not playing Terminal, then like, why do you even play Call of Duty? We've seen it remade a few times in Infinite Warfare and COD Mobile, but nothing's really beaten the OG Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 versions of Terminal. But I think it's easy to say it's gonna slap in Modern Warfare 3. If it's been a minute since you played on Terminal, allow me the privilege of giving you an overview of the layout. It's a mid-sized map set in an airport, the location of the iconic and controversial No Russian mission. Security section is here. There's a bookstore in the middle. That's the counter area where you pick up your tickets. This big section over here is the plane. Escalators right here. And this spot right here is the high point of the map that keeps a bird's eye view on everything. Terminal plays like a dream, and I cannot wait for its glorious return. I'm assuming that they're not going to be changing a ton for Modern Warfare 3, but there was some pretty annoying shit that was actually taken out of Terminal a long time ago. I'm curious if it's actually going to come back or not. Like, for example, you can get in between these glass elevators. They're totally bulletproof. And you could also do this with a riot shield, making you basically indestructible. Super annoying. So if they don't change it, you're welcome. That's something you could do. You could also go behind the counter in Burger Town. This is not the most useful spot, but it's a great place to call in like a chopper gutter. To the contrary, this one is very useful. If you climb up here, you can get right up behind in this area on top of this signage and hit the snipers at the top of the escalators from a very unexpected angle. 2. Favela. Truly legendary map. This is a thing of beauty. Near perfection in map design. A dense urban area in the absolutely gorgeous slums of Rio. Incredible atmosphere. A lived-in feel across the entire space. This is what map making is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a high-level favela. It's a mid-sized map with densely packed kind of center, full of buildings and places to get ambushed. But the real defining element here is the rooftop-to-rooftop fighting. Whoever owns the roof owns the streets, kind of like Karachi. Many of these positions don't offer any cover, so you're gonna have to hit your shots. For snipers, this means threading the needle as people duck in and out of alleyways and run past windows. If you want to lock this map down, you're gonna have to bring your A game. If your shot's not feeling crispy, but you still want to go long range, you can always go over to one of the flanks. They're wide open. The middle is just gonna be an infested web of submachine guns and shotguns. And don't let me catch you camping in the ice cream shop. That's my shop. That's where I go get my gelato. I don't want to see any of you in there. That's my building. Over by the barbershop, there's that building with the big, long roof. It's kind of noob bait. People get up there and then they quickly realize they can't handle all the angles at the same time. You're just a big fat target up there. At this point in its lifespan, Favela doesn't have many secrets to discover, but I will share this because it's pretty funny. On this rooftop right here, the plants are actually bulletproof. And see, like, all the old school heads say that, oh, modern COD sucks, modern COD's terrible. I'm not saying their points are invalid, but I'm saying, like, classic COD also had a lot of problems. Like, we had bulletproof plants for no reason that literally never got fixed. This is still the same way in the live game right now, like 15 years later. Never fixed it. This should go without saying, but Favela is definitely a play it. Bring your A game. Let's rumble. Let's hit the streets. Number 1, High Rise. This map is amazing. For this one, I'm not even going to show you the overhead map because High Rise is a playground that you need to discover for yourself. It's a wondrous balance of elevation, refined angles, and tactical choices. It plays like absolute perfection in every single game mode. I cannot wait to see how it plays in Modern Warfare 3. I mean, I dropped into this POI in Al-Mazrah all the time whenever possible just for nostalgia. So to get you prepped and ready to play some High Rise when Modern Warfare 3 drops, let's talk about some lesser known areas. Okay, starting with the most obvious one, the rooftop. I've seen people pull this off in a live game before. I have. I mean, most people just die 50 times trying. Like, it's almost like you're gonna lose the game if you have that one teammate who's dedicated to getting up on the roof and failing over and over again. Doesn't happen often, but every once in a while. A true hero makes it all the way up to the top, drops attack insert, and rains down holy terror. It's incredible. It's basically an Easter egg, but it does have a lot of game utility. It's like one of the best visibility sniping points in the history of Call of Duty. Okay, next up, and this one's a little bit more practical. In one of the spawns, there's a coffee bar. And next to it, there's this convenient ladder that lets you jump up on top of the ledge above the coffee bar. It's an easy way to catch people off guard and keep those snipers guessing. If you know this one, you may have been a free-for-all player back in the day because people would use it to boost. If you drop down right here, you could actually shimmy all the way across the middle of the map and pop up behind people. This is actually really hard to pull off in a real game, but it's a great spot to drop down and maybe call in kill streaks. Like if you're on a hot streak and you just need a place that's kind of safe and you're out in the middle of the map, you could use this. People generally don't poke over there looking for you. Play it now. Play High Rise every single time it comes up. If you have an opportunity to play High Rise, stop what you're doing and play High Rise. But hey, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun and informative. I'm super excited to see all of these classic maps come back to life with a brand new facelift, as well as some new game mechanics to help them play a little bit differently. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again very, very, very soon.